Eshelman, the First Lady of the City of Chicago. Welcome to the city celebration of Women's History Month. Women's History Month grew out of International Women's History Day, which is celebrated by suffragists in New York on March 8, 1909. In 1980, the week of March 8th officially became Women's History Week. And in 1987, March was officially designated as Women's History Month. It is fitting that March be our month, as it is a month of triumph for American women, including passage of Title IX and the Equal Rights Amendment out of the Senate. Sadly, it is also a month of tragedy for women, now including our sisters who died in the shootings in Atlanta last week. We cannot celebrate without first remembering them and the other women who we lose every day to gender-based violence. Each year, the National Women's History Alliance assigns a theme to Women's History Month. The theme for 2020 was Valiant Women of the Vote, Refusing to be Silenced. Because of COVID-19, the Alliance has decided that this year's theme will be a continuation of that theme, reflecting the determination of women to not be silenced, not even by a pandemic. In that spirit of determination, in the face of all odds, it is now my absolute privilege to introduce my wife, your mayor, the Honorable Lori E. Lightfoot. See, I'm a big crier.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction, but more importantly, thank you for being who you are and being tolerant of me and supportive of me in so many incredible and profound ways. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. We're here tonight to celebrate Women's History Month. As Amy said, March has historically been a month of triumph, but also, sadly, also tragedy for women in our country. In celebrating our progress, it's important to remember the many struggles that women have faced and overcome since the beginning of time. But overcome we have, and overcome we shall continue to do as we rise above any obstacle that stands in our way. Our celebration tonight includes acknowledging and honoring Chicago's women in the organizations that they lead. It also includes celebrating the incredible women who work on behalf of the city right here in City Hall. And you can't see them, but I am so incredibly proud of the women that are gathered in this room who are a snapshot and a representation of the incredible leadership that we have across city agencies, of women from different backgrounds, different experiences, but all who are facing the challenges in their respective roles and succeeding so well. I am so incredibly proud of each and every one of you, and I want you to hear that from me directly. This has been a hell of a year, and you all have stood tall in the face of a lot of adversity, a lot of controversy, and served your city well. So thank you, all of you who are here, and those of you who are not in this room, but are doing the same thing every single day. Thank you. Our celebration tonight also includes celebrating the incredible women who work on behalf of the city right here in City Hall, who advocate for our communities and our neighborhoods as city council women, and serve our city each and every day as commissioners, department heads, or CEOs of our sister agencies. Collectively, these women and organizations have had a tremendous positive impact on our city and our lives. And they are examples of what happens when women have a chance to lead. In particular, I want to call out and acknowledge City of Chicago Clerk Anna Valencia and City Treasurer Melissa Conyers-Irvin, who are also participating with us tonight in this event. And while all of the CEOs and commissioners who make our city work are incredibly important, I also want to give a special shout out and thank you to CPS CEO, Dr. Janice Jackson, for ensuring our kids, the future leaders of our city, remain connected to the high quality education that they deserve throughout this pandemic, no matter their background, zip code, or family circumstances. And of course, we all owe a special debt of thanks to our indomitable Commissioner of Public Health, Dr. Allison Arwady, who is leading us through this COVID crisis with incredible intellect, courage, and always grace. Without the contributions and hard work of these women and their colleagues, we simply wouldn't be where we are as a city. And it's not lost on me that I am leading a city that was co-founded by a woman of color. No other mayor of any other major city in this country can say that. We are working to properly honor John Baptiste Point du Sable, a man of African heritage who is credited with starting the first permanent settlement in the area that would become the great city that we all know and love and call home. But like so many other men, his success depended on the support of a woman. His Native American wife, Kitty Hawa, by his side, building bridges between him and her native Potawatomi people. John Baptiste du Sable could not have succeeded without her by his side, blazing trails that only she could blaze. So as we honor him, we must also honor her. Now, this past year has been like no other. But amidst the worst public health crises of our lifetime, we also experienced one of the most historic presidential elections with the election of Kamala Harris to become the first woman and woman of color as vice president. This victory is especially satisfying because it reflects the theme of Women's History Month this year, which is an extension of last year. Valiant women of the vote, refusing to be silenced. Our bravery in the face of adversity has literally changed the face of American politics forever. But despite this political victory, we know that women continue to struggle. Make no mistakes, folks. Women, especially women of color, have been disproportionately impacted during the course of this torturous year. I worry about the number of women who have had to leave the workforce. I worry about the higher rates of job loss and unemployment among women, particularly women of color. And we have suffered higher rates of gender-based violence over the course of this very difficult year. And we all know this is unacceptable. Since the start of the pandemic, women have been at the front lines of our city and across the country. Whether it be serving in essential roles within our police and fire department, at our hospitals, or even in our homes to keep our families safe, supported, and healthy. Or serving as leaders within their own families to keep the lights on and food on the table. As your mayor, and especially as only the second woman to serve as Chicago mayor, I pledge to do everything in my power to make sure no woman in Chicago feels as if they are silenced or that her concerns are going unheard. One of my biggest priorities has always been uplifting the voices and pulling a seat at the table to those who have been historically excluded, and that includes women in our city. That's why over the course of my administration, I've worked tirelessly to center women's voices and achievements through targeted efforts such as expanding opportunities for women-owned businesses, launching campaigns like Your Home is Someone's Workplace to protect domestic workers, who my mother and my grandmother were, who are primarily women of color, from exploitation, and ensure that they are treated as the professionals that they are, deserving of our respect. And convening groups like CCHR's Women's Advisory Council or the Gender-Based Violence Advisor Group to address the trauma that far too many face in our city and provide survivors with the resources they need to feel safe. But I will tell you that one of the things that I am most proud of as mayor is empowering talented women, strong women, to serve in senior leadership roles on my team. a significant percentage, and I believe it's 2/3 of my senior leadership team are women and women of color. They help run schools, human services, infrastructure, and they are the faces of equity, community engagement, and so much more. They lift me up every single day and make sure that as a city government, we are living our values of equity, inclusion, and transparency. And now, as we embark on a new phase in our COVID-19 journey toward recovering and healing, I am more determined than ever to support and empower Chicago's women. We cannot recover and be a great global city if women are in an inferior status or if we are left behind. We must do everything we can to continue to build on the success that we've had to make sure that women's voices and lived experience are reflected in what we are and who we will become as a city. And we ought to make sure that women are part of this historic recovery. Before I close, I want to give a huge thank you to all the women, both here with us today and across our city, who continue to keep our city running smoothly every single day. They are unsung heroes, many of them. But we depend and rely upon their daily sacrifice. So if you're a person who says a prayer, say a prayer for them. If you're a person who honors the service of others, honor their service. Because without these women, we would be the lesser for it. Whether it be serving in a role within city government, where you'd be hard-pressed not to find a woman leading in a senior role, or contributing significantly to the team's day-to-day operations, or running an organization that thousands of women rely upon every single day. Our city is the better because these women have given their time, their talent, and sacrifice, and bet on Chicago, and made all of our lives better because they've made their life's work about the business of helping and uplifting people in our city. So to all of those women that are out there who make their sacrifices every day to lift up the lived experience of people around them, to support the most vulnerable residents, and make sure that we live our values every single day, we owe you a debt of gratitude and thanks. And with that, I'd like to turn things over to City Treasurer Melissa Conyers-Irvin. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us tonight.
Good evening, women. Thank you, Mayor Lightfoot, so much for your leadership, especially for our great city during this pandemic. What better leader at a time such as this than a woman? And your leadership certainly has not gone unnoticed. Also to First Lady Eshelman, all of the women in the room with you, all of the women listening, through the social media platform that has joined us on this evening. I am so proud to be joined by the Women's Advisory Council today as we mark Women's History Month. March is almost over, but the work to give women a place in every industry is happening all year round. It was Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg who said, "Women belong in all places where decisions are being made." To the justice's words, I would add that women belong in positions to make those decisions, to have the authority to shape our lives, because just being in the room is not enough. And clearly the voters of Chicago feel the same way, as I am joined today by Clerk Valencia and obviously our mayor. And by the way, for the first time in Chicago's history, all three citywide offices of Chicago are held by elected women of color. It is truly an honor to serve with these two dynamic women. But let's be real. We know that the statistics on women in leadership positions are slim. Women are more likely to pursue higher education in this country, but less likely to get promoted than their male peers. Women make up more than 50% of the population, but only 39% of small business owners. They are 45% of lawyers, but 22% of partners in law firms. They are 61% of accountants and auditors, but only 12.5% of CFOs. Only 8% of S&P 500 companies have women CEOs. And by the way, that's a record high. The leadership gap continues even as women are achieving more in all walks of life. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg made sure she took her women's values with her to the highest court. She pursued cases that would protect women in the workforce from discrimination, no matter where their aspirations took them. And her aspirations took her all the way to the Supreme Court, a very high place where decisions are made. We can all aspire to those positions of leadership and to supporting women who attain them. The women that we are highlighting this evening have committed to making gender equality a reality, not just on paper, but in everything they do. As city treasurer, I am so happy to be working alongside great women to protect and invest taxpayers' money. But I also look at our partnership with women-owned firms as an aspect of what we do each day. As leaders in government, I know that we all take very seriously our responsibility to extend support to as many women as we can. Happy Women's Month, and congratulations to the women being honored this evening, from alderwomen to commissioners to leaders of agencies, and of course to our community heroes. This has been a great month, and I hope that we all can recommit to looking around the rooms or the Zooms that we're in and making certain that women are there, making more and more of the decisions each day, because that's where we belong. Again, thank you so much, Mayor and First Lady, for concluding Women's History Month, saluting the women who are our heroes. And by the way, you two ladies are our heroes. Thank you for what you do to represent us each day. Thank you.
Hello, Chicago. Hello, Mayor. Hello, Treasurer. Hello, Amy. City Clerk Anna Valencia here. Thank you so much for having me here today to celebrate Women's History Month. And I hope that we take this momentum and excitement to beyond just 1 month, because we deserve to be celebrated all year long. I want to thank Mayor Lightfoot for having me tonight. I want to honor all of the women leaders and honorees tonight, the community heroes. We know that this pandemic has been hard for all of you. We know that it has been a struggle for all of you. And I pray for encouragement on your leadership journey, wherever you are in this pandemic, that your family is safe, that you're taking care of yourselves, because this work can be long. It's a marathon. And I'm so grateful to have women leaders here in Chicago that understand community, understand the needs of what it's like to be a mother, to care for others, to ensure that people had food in their bellies, that we understand that unemployment like we've never before, that we're tackling it. And we're there for our essential workers, who are mostly women and women of color at the front lines. So again, I want to thank all of you in leadership here at the City of Chicago, in the community, nonprofits, foundations, and at the government level, for stepping up and for leading in such a time as this. I also want to say to our young girls watching, look at what history there is, and that you have a place in government. For the first time in Chicago's history, all 3 highest levels of government are women and women of color. And we, in our own rights, have really tried to pave the way so that you can see it and be it. I know I was always looking as a young girl up, looking for women with lived experiences like myself to look up to know that it is possible. So I want to say to all you young girls and those that are listening tonight, that you can do it, you can be it, and we are here for you. We are cheering you on in this pandemic. Don't let this slow you down on what you want to do, and dream big, because those dreams are possible, and you're seeing that tonight. I want to give a special shout out to my friend Bernie Wong as our community hero tonight. I'm so happy that Jacinta is here. honoring her mother and her work, because it's trailblazers like Bernie, it's trailblazers like our mayor, and like others that have come before us that have opened the door of the impossible and have pulled us along with them. So again, I would like to just salute all of our women here. Know that we are cheering you on, and the end is near and the hope is coming. And we'll continue to support each other, because we know when women support other women, we all rise together. Thank you so much and have a wonderful night. Stay safe, Chicago.
Good evening. My name is Ann Sheehan, and I serve as Deputy Chief of Staff to Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Women make up the majority of top leadership roles in Chicago city government, including some amazing women in the City Council. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge them. Alderwoman Pat Dowell, 3rd Ward. Alderwoman Sophia King, 4th Ward. Alderwoman Leslie Hairston, 5th Ward. Alderwoman Michelle Harris, 8th Ward. Alderwoman Susan Sadlowski Garza, 10th Ward. Alderwoman Stephanie Coleman, 16th Ward. Alderwoman Jeanette Taylor, 20th Ward. Alderwoman Silvana Tabarez, 23rd Ward. Alderwoman Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez, 33rd Ward. Alderwoman Carrie Austin, 34th Ward. Alderwoman Emma Mitz, 37th Ward. Alderwoman Samantha Nugent, 39th Ward. Alderwoman Michelle Smith, 43rd Ward. Alderwoman Maria Haddon, 49th Ward. Alderwoman Deborah Silverstein, 50th Ward. We are so grateful to you for your service to the city. In addition to the mayor and her immediate team, there are over 20 women in the city who serve in the mayor's cabinet as commissioners, department heads, or sister agency CEOs. Because of COVID-19 restrictions, we are unable to have them here, all of these women here in the room tonight, but I have the honor of telling you who they are. CHA CEO Tracy Scott, CPS CEO Dr. Janice Jackson, Chief Administrative Law Judge Patricia Jakowiak, Chair of the License Appeal Commission Laura Perry, Acting Corporation Counsel Celia Mesa, City Comptroller Reshma Soni, Chief Financial Officer Jenny Bennett, Chief Procurement Officer Shannon Andrews, Commissioner Nancy Andrade, Chicago Commission on Human Relations, Commissioner Rachel Arfa, Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities, Commissioner of Public Health, Dr. Allison Arwady, Commissioner of the Department of Transportation, Gia Biaggi, Acting Commissioner of the Department of Water Management, Andrea Chang, Commissioner of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, Rosa Escarino, Acting Commissioner of the Department of Family and Support Services, Brandy Kanazi, Commissioner of Housing, Marissa Navarra, Commissioner of Aviation, Jamie Rhee, Susie Park, Director of Office of Budget Management, Sydney Roberts, Director of the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, Anastasia Walker, Director of the Office of Public Safety Administration. Now I'd like to introduce one of those leaders, Commissioner Nancy Andrade. Commissioner?
Good evening. My name is Nancy Andrade, and it is my privilege to serve as Chicago's Commissioner for Human Relations. The Commission for Human Relations promotes Chicago's diversity by eliminating prejudice and discrimination. The Commission is specifically charged with enforcing the Chicago Human Rights Ordinance and the Chicago Fair Housing Ordinance. It investigates complaints and uses its enforcement powers to punish acts of discrimination. Besides enforcement, the Commission also conducts proactive education, intervention, and constituency building to bring our diverse city together. The Commission's 5 advisory councils promote an inclusive city, as well as by reviewing existing citywide programs, recommending policies, and acting as a liaison between the city and community organizations. The 5 councils are the Advisory Council on Equity, the Advisory Council on LGBTQ+ issues, the Advisory Council on New Americans, the Advisory Council on Veterans, and the Advisory Council on Women. Tonight, in honor of Women's History Month, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the members of the Women's Advisory Council. Chair of the Women's Advisory Council, Jacqueline Kaplan Perkins. Jessica Avita, Accenture. Emily Bloom, ADA 25. Felicia Davis, Chicago Foundation for Women. Eileen Dordek, licensed clinical social worker. Jennifer Eleazar, Opportunity Loans. Kimmy Ellen, Benford, Brown and Associates. Karnika Iyenger, Hira Consulting, LLC. Sonia Jackson, consultant. Lisa Koch Kornick, First Women's Bank. The Reverend Renee Lee, Proviso Lighting Council for Community Action. Lauren Simmons, YWCA Metropolitan Chicago. Linda Tortolero, Mujeres Latinas en Acción. Loretta Yvette Trevino, Little Village Chamber of Commerce. Jennifer Welch, Planned Parenthood of Illinois. Sharita Ellens, Women Employed, and Dr. Kim Fountain from the Center on Halsted. Thank you for serving our city and working to create an even better Chicago. At this time, I'd like to introduce First Deputy Fire Commissioner Annette Nance Holt.
Thank you, Nancy. Good evening. I am First Deputy Fire Commissioner Annette Nance Holt, the first woman to serve as second in command of the Chicago Fire Department, which is one of the largest and oldest departments in the United States. As the first woman in this non-traditional role, it is a special honor for me to begin tonight's community honors by recognizing an organization that champions gender rights and equality, Chicago's Women's March. Launched in the aftermath of the 2016 election, Women's March Chicago brings together women and allies in support of women's rights, including equal pay, reproductive rights, and freedom from gender-based violence and harassment. It is led by a diverse and dynamic board of women. They are Jackie Algie, Vice President, Director of External Relations for SEIU Healthcare. Deborah Cozy Lane, Financial Secretary, Treasurer of Amalgamated Transit Union Local 308, which represents the CTA's rail transportation workers. Cheryl Holman, Community Leader, Board Member of the Chicago Jobs Council, and co-chair of the Black Community Provider Network, which is a coalition of more than 40 agencies. Diane Latiker, founder of Kids Off the Block, an award-winning organization that started 17 years ago with 10 neighborhood kids and now has impacted thousands. Rudy Garrett, co-deputy director of Chicago Votes, a nonprofit that educates, trains, and empowers the next generation of Chicagoans to enter the life of political and public service. Graciela Guzman, campaign director for Healthy Illinois, which works to provide affordable, accessible health care insurance to undocumented people and other uninsured populations. Sarah Kurzniski, a self-described professional volunteer galvanized by the refugee crisis and the election of 2016. She joined Women's March Chicago to protect the rights of everyone, improve life in our city and our country. Dr. Delara Saeed, award-winning teacher, entrepreneur, nonprofit leader, and community activist, who, among other accomplishments, is a founder of the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition. Thank you. The Board of Women's March Chicago congratulates on this honor.
Thank you, Annette. My name is Andrea Chang, and I serve as the Acting Commissioner for the Department of Water Management. My department delivers nearly 1 billion gallons of drinking water to residents of Chicago and 125 suburbs every day. Our mission is to provide the highest quality drinking water while protecting our most precious natural resource, Lake Michigan. Tonight, I'm recognizing a leader in economic empowerment for women, Chicago Women in Trades. I'm especially honored to be able to acknowledge this group because tradespeople are critically important to building the water infrastructure of our city. Chicago Women in Trades is an organization committed to ensuring that all women who want to work with their hands and earn a good living have equal access to information, training, and employment opportunities in the industry. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rosa Escareño, and I serve as the commissioner for the for the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. BACP ensures a fair and vibrant marketplace for both businesses and consumers. We empower the business owners to help their businesses flourish while protecting and defending consumers and workers to strengthen the rights of all Chicagoans. And today I also want to just recognize a couple of staff members on my team that have really been helpful through making sure that we're working through this pandemic. One is Kenia Merritt. She is the Chief Small Business Officer for the City of Chicago. And also Shannon Trotter, who is our Liquor Commissioner. And also want to recognize the many and thousands of women business owners across our city that are true heroes and are championing the economic revival of our city after this pandemic. And tonight it is my honor to recognize a wonderful business and business owner, Sophie Evanoff of Vanille Pastisserie. Sophie is president of Vanille Pastisserie, a premier provider of luxury French pastries in Chicago. A classically trained pastry chef, Sophie has acquired the business in 2011 and oversees business planning, new product development, sales, and marketing. She's been amazing. During the past year, Sophie's leadership in Vanille has been able to sustain operations while contributing to the economic growth of her community and continuing the mission of making Chicago sweeter, one pastry at a time. And so Vanille has been awarded the #1 retailer of Lincoln Park in 2015 and recognized as one of the best bakeries in America by Time Out Chicago. So we know we're all going to go for pastries tonight, ladies. She is a dedicated and active entrepreneur. Sophie was the first female business owner to win the James Tyree Emerging Business Leadership Award in 2016 and was honored as a woman of influence by the Chicago Business Journal in 2019. So let's give her a huge round of applause. Thank you for all you do. Oh, I apologize. So from sweet pastries to beautiful music, I also have the privilege of recognizing Josephine Lee, President and Artistic Director of the Chicago Children's Choir, for contributions to the arts. Miss Lee is an acclaimed conductor, pianist, singer, producer, and nonprofit leader. Among other awards, she has been honored by the Kennedy Center's National Committee for the Performing Arts Award and Arts Advocacy in 2018. The Chicago Children's Choir inspires and unites youth from diverse backgrounds to become global citizens through music. Founded in Hyde Park in a direct response to the civil rights movement in 1956, CCC has grown from one choir into a vast network of in-school and after-school programs serving nearly 5,000 students across the city of Chicago. Ms. Lee, thank you for helping to make our city more beautiful and harmonious throughout the music of children. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosa. My name is Laura Perry, and I serve as the chair of the License Appeal Commission. I am the first woman to hold this position, and am proud of the work the License Appeal Commission provides. LAC is the immediate form of appeal for suspensions, revocations, and fines imposed by the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection against a liquor license holder. The Commission plays a vital part in ensuring due process for Chicago business owners. And today, I am excited to honor Betsy Ziegler in 1871 for its great work in technology. Elizabeth Betsy Ziegler is the first female CEO of 1871, now the #1 ranked university-affiliated tech incubator in the world. Previous to 1871, Betsy was the Chief Innovation Officer at the Kellogg School of Management, Northwestern University, responsible for portfolio innovation as well as integrating technology into the Kellogg educational experience. Located in the Merchandise Mart, 1871 is a 75,000 square foot facility and provides Chicago startups with programming, access to mentors, educational resources, potential investors, and a community of like-minded entrepreneurs that help them on their path to building successful businesses. Significantly, 1871 was the year of the Great Chicago Fire. And although not named for the fire, the organization was inspired by its aftermath, when communities came together to innovate, create, and build a new kind of city. 150 years later, as the end of the COVID pandemic seems in reach, we will be looking to the same kind of innovation and creativity to allow our city and communities within it to recover and thrive.
Hello, my name is Sydney Roberts, and I serve as Chief Administrator for the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, more commonly known as COPA. COPA was created by Chicago City Council in October 2016. It is committed to police accountability, advancing the culture of policing, and building trust in civilian oversight. I have been asked to recognize Windy City Times for its contributions to the LGBTQ+ community in Chicago. Founded in September 1985 as a weekly newspaper for the LGBTQ community, the paper became a staple for Chicago's LGBTQ+ community. Although it recently announced it is going to be a primarily online publication, it will produce quarterly print supplements in the Chicago Reader. Windy City Times co-founder Tracy Baim is publisher of the Chicago Reader and is a member of the National LGBTQ Journalists Association Hall of Fame. She has founded several other LGBTQ publications, as well as the Pride Action Tank. She has also launched Podcast Chicago, Queer and Now. Tracy Baim, congratulations on all you have contributed to the LGBTQ community, including the Windy City Times.
Good evening. My name is Reshma Soni, the City Comptroller for the Department of Finance. The Department of Finance provides effective and efficient management of the city's financial resources. I'm happy to be here today to recognize and honor a champion of immigrant rights, Mary Meg McCarthy. Mary Meg McCarthy is the Executive Director of Heartland Alliance National Immigration Justice Center, or NIJC, one of the nation's foremost immigration and human rights advocacy organizations. Under Mary Meg's leadership, NIJC has become a leading organization dedicated to advancing justice for immigrants. Working with a pro bono network of 1,500 attorneys, NIJC provides counsel and representation to approximately 10,000 low-income immigrants, refugees, and asylum seekers each year. NIJC's legal services inform its advocacy, litigation, and educational initiatives to promote human rights locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. An expert in immigration law, Mary Meg has testified before Congress and is often quoted in major news outlets such as MSNBC, the New York Times, and the Chicago Tribune. As an active member of the American Bar Association, Mary Meg chairs its Commission on Immigration. She is also a member of the Chicago Network, the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and the Chicago Bar Association, among others. Mary Meg, thank you for the important work that you do through NIJC. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Rachel Alva, and I am the Commissioner for the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, where we work to make Chicago the most accessible city in the nation on behalf of residents and visitors with disabilities. And I am here to recognize Mayor Sarah Pesquera and the work of the Healthy Communities Foundation. Healthy Communities Foundation is a community-informed grant-making foundation that seeks to measurably improve the health and well-being of individuals, families, and communities in our service area by promoting health equity, quality, and access. Mia was appointed president of Healthy Communities Foundation in May of 2017. Prior to joining the Healthy Communities Foundation, Mia served as president to Mujeres Latinx Action, and at an early age, as the eldest daughter of Mexican immigrants, she became a translator, advocate, convener in a branch for information and understanding, and as a result, justice, equity, and collaborative effort have been her drivers for becoming a passionate servant leader. And congratulations, Miriam.
Good evening. My name is Susie Park, and I am the Director of the Office of Budget and Management. At OBM, we are responsible for preparing and executing the city's annual budget. We drive management reforms that improve the city's fiscal condition to increase taxpayer value for all Chicago residents. This evening, I would like to present the award for environment to Belinda Lindy Wardlaw. Belinda Lindy Wardlaw is a certified planner with a wealth of experience working with municipal groups. Lindy has been on the leading edge of educating local leaders about the importance of integrating sustainable energy use into their mainstream long-term planning processes. Lindy is currently the Senior Manager of Public Sector Programs at Elevate Energy and oversees energy retrofit work, benchmarking, implementation and consultation, and energy sustainability planning work for buildings and units of local government. She has been an important partner in the City of Chicago's sustainability work. Lindy, thank you for all your contributions to a greener and more environmentally sustainable future for our city.
Hello, I am Jamie Rhee, Commissioner for the Chicago Department of Aviation. In that role, I manage one of the busiest airport systems in the world, including O'Hare and Midway, which serve over 100 million passengers each year in a normal year. Tonight, I have the honor of recognizing Tamara Holmes and her Aerostar Youth Aviation Program. Holmes launched Aerostar Consulting Corporation to get more African Americans, females, and other underserved, underrepresented populations interested in aviation and STEM careers. Her Aerostars programs are literally giving wings to dreams. She was inducted into the Illinois Aviation Hall of Fame, receiving the Spirit of Flight Award for her work. She's also received the Bessie Coleman Aviation Award from the Chicago Defender Charities, as well as congressional recognition as an outstanding community partner from Representative Danny Davis. Congratulations, Tamara. I've had the pleasure of knowing you for 15 years, and thank you for all that you do for our industry. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Brandy Kanazi, and I serve as the Acting Commissioner for the Chicago Department of Family and Support Services. Tonight, it is my privilege to honor Mary Anderson, Chicago Director for AARP Illinois. Mary Anderson is Chicago Director for AARP Illinois. AARP is the leading advocate for the 50-plus generation and fights for the issues that matter most to families, such as health care, employment and income security, and protection from financial abuse. Mary directs AARP strategy for Northern Illinois region, including advocacy and initiatives at the federal, state, and local level. Mary has led AARP Illinois in its 3-year Disrupt Disparities Initiative, a research, advocacy, and community engagement campaign to center racial equity in aging. I will add, Mary and AARP have been a critical and instrumental partner for the city in our battle against COVID-19, including our recent efforts to prioritize vaccination of seniors as our first line of defense.
Mary, we cannot thank you and AARP enough for all you have done for our city. Thank you. I am also delighted to acknowledge the great work of Fatima Abu Aid and Sanat Social Services, which is a nonprofit agency founded in 1991. Fatima noticed that the community was in dire need of a social service agency that would support and address the issues and concerns of the Arab American community. The mission for Sanat Social Services is to provide a wide range of services for diverse, low-income individuals and families by offering assistance for employment and through outreach programs, educational seminars, and training classes. The Sanat Play It Forward Center is built around one very simple but very yet powerful idea, the idea that one by one we can all change lives. May we all pay it forward. Fatima, thank you.
Hello, my name is Tracy Scott, and I serve as the Chief Executive Officer of the Chicago Housing Authority. CHA is the second largest housing authority in the nation and the largest rental landlord in the city of Chicago. We serve more than 63,000 low-income families across the city. I have the privilege of recognizing community builder Francine Washington. Francine was appointed to the Chicago Housing Authority Board of Commissioners in June 2014. A longtime and respected voice in the Chicago resident leadership community, Washington is the president of the Central Advisory Council and is also president of the Washington Park Local Advisory Committee. Washington is an aggressive advocate for her community, focusing on important issues such as community safety, building maintenance, and the need for public housing residents to be recognized and supported. Francine and my commissioner, for all you do for your neighbors and community, I thank you. And now I will turn the podium over to Mayor Lightfoot for the final recognition of the evening, the Legacy Award.
Thank you, Tracy, and this has been a great program. Tonight I have the great honor of awarding the Legacy Award to an individual who has been a long-time champion, not only for the Chinese American community, but for women all across our city. Bernie Wong is a true embodiment of community leadership. From a young age, Bernie has always known the importance of serving others with dignity and respect. At the age of 18, she left Hong Kong by herself to earn a BA in sociology from Briarcliff College and a master's degree in social work from Washington University. During this time, she grew especially attuned to the unique set of challenges that new immigrants, especially those who are poor or women, are faced with when they are confronted by a completely different culture and language. These experiences would give her the courage to gather a few friends and begin the difficult task of building the Chinese American Service League, or CASL, from the ground up in 1979. As CALS co-founder and later president, Bernie grew the origination from a small shop in 1979 with an annual budget of $30,000 to a fully fledged team with an annual budget of $13 million today. Bernie also spearheaded an initiative that would build a $6.7 million senior housing facility, as well as a $9.2 million CAM LUU building, a community service center that has combined all of CASL's disparate sites. The rest of Bernie's impressive career really speaks for itself. Bernie has served as a chair on the Chicago Mayor's Advisory Council on Asian Affairs, the Chicago Commission on Human Relations, and the Governor's Asian Advisory Council. She was also the first Asian person to be appointed to the boards of the United Way of Greater Chicago and the Chicago Public Library. And even now in her retirement, she's still making her voice heard as an advisor on the Obama Foundation Inclusion Council. and as was recently honored with the CASL Lifetime Achievement Award just last October. For decades, Bernie has been a dedicated advocate for our Chinese American community, women, and immigrants. Work day in and day out to ensure our voices, their voices, will always be heard and that they will always have a seat at the table. She has also helped to make Chicago a better, more equitable place. So Bernie, for all that you've done, a lifetime of service, you leave a great legacy, and congratulations on this honor, which reflects who you are and who you continue to be for our city of Chicago. Without you, our city simply would not be the same. So now, without further ado, it's my great honor to welcome up a representative to read Bernie Wong's remarks.
And to be here amongst all these wonderful women, including my boss, City Clerk Anna Valencia. Mom has asked me to read these remarks on her behalf. Good evening, Madam Mayor, First Lady. I'm humbled and excited to be part of this virtual reception celebrating Women's History Month. It is truly an honor to be included as Women's History Month Community Champion, along with all of these remarkable women who have changed and continue to change the lives of so many women in Chicago. Let me start off by saying thank you to Mayor Lightfoot, whose leadership is guiding us through this very difficult time. And thank you to everyone who planned and made this event possible. I share this honor with the hundreds of thousands of clients CASL served these last 4 decades, the people we have served from the boards I sat on, especially the women and girls we have helped. It was their stories of struggle, their perseverance, sacrifices, and tenacity that inspired me every day to work for them and with them. I accept this honor on behalf of my fellow founders of CASL, our volunteers, staff, my mentors, and the entire Asian community. I also accept and share this award with my loving family, my wonderful daughter Jacinta, my grandchildren Tiana and Matthew, along with my late husband of 50 years, Albert, who supported me with no reservations throughout my decades-long journey of service. I am so sorry for my not being able to join you on Zoom this evening due to my poor health. My most sincere congratulations to all the recipients tonight. Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you very much. This concludes our program, but let's get another round of applause for all of our honorees. On behalf of Mayor Lightfoot and First Lady Amy Eshelman, I just want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. And I also want to thank every woman in every community that makes Chicago such a vibrant place to live and work. So thanks again, and have a good evening.